Thank you so much for your attention. I'm really excited to talk to you all about pain psychology today and your capacity to harness the power that's available to you right now, but you may not know exactly what's available, how to use it, how to put it to use. I've written 2 books on pain psychology. If you're interested in that, you can check them out. We're giving a lot of those books out today. Dr. Mackey mentioned the impact of pain. And really, if we live long enough, virtually all of us are going to experience back pain in our lifetime. But what's interesting here was this 2015 Gallup poll, which really talked about treatment seeking. And in fact, 1/4 of Americans sought treatment for back pain or neck pain in the past year. So that's, there's a lot of people living with pain who don't seek treatment. So this is just describing treatment-seeking behavior. And up to 2/3 report having sought treatment for neck pain or back pain in their lifetime. And what I would submit to you is that the majority of people aren't treating pain the right way, or there's this missed opportunity to treat pain better. So let me explain what I mean by that. Now, of course, you feel pain in your back, and there's a natural human tendency to focus on the site of the pain, where we feel it. And indeed, as Dr. Mackey just mentioned, it's everything. We're treating the person. So certainly there are treatments where we're going to focus exactly where we feel the pain and treat it. But in fact, what we know is that it's not just the site of where we feel pain in our body that's important. That fundamentally, pain is a brain-based phenomenon. It's actually located in our nervous system, and that includes our brain and our spinal cord. So anywhere you feel pain in your body, it's going to feed into the nervous system, and that's when it becomes pain. So there's a lot of different things in our lives that impact our nervous system. If you think about it, stress does, sleep does. A lot of our thoughts and our emotions impact our nervous system. And this may make a little more sense to you if you think about it. I mean, when we tend to think about our brain, we think, yeah, that's where we do our thinking. That's where our thoughts live. It's also where our emotions live. So as it turns out, the same regions of your brain that are associated with the processing of the pain you feel in your back or anywhere else in your body, those same regions of the brain are impacted by the attention that you give anything, by the interpretation that you have of anything, and your emotional experience of it. So the way I like to explain it is that it's almost like your emotions and your pain, they share real estate in your brain. So there's a bi-directional relationship between the two. And this is recognized by the International Association for the Study of Pain, which is the world's global pain association that targets treatment, research, education about pain. And here's their definition of pain. It's not just what we feel in our body. Pain is a negative sensory, what we do feel in our body. It's also an emotional experience. So psychology is actually built into the definition of pain. But we don't often treat it that way. We'll focus so much on what's going on in the body that there's this missed opportunity to target what I often like to call your pain computer. And that's what's going on right here. And so I like to put forward, imagine if we spent as much time treating and optimizing what's going on in our pain computer. Now, that's not going to take away what's happening down here in the back, but it's an amazing opportunity to gain control so that we're not unwittingly amplifying our pain experience. Now, let's talk about pain. You're all pain experts, right? Pain is your harm alarm. It's designed to get your attention, and it does so very effectively, doesn't it? So pain motivates you to get away from whatever is causing the pain. Your brain interprets pain as something of a threat, something to get away from, and you're born knowing how to be motivated to get away from pain. It happens automatically. But you're not born knowing how to manage pain and the distress that it causes. So when that harm alarm rings, it's going to get your attention. It's really effective at getting your attention. And when that harm alarm rings, it's also going to lead to some natural distress, maybe some anxiety, maybe some fear. These are all natural experiences, but it's important to understand them and to learn how to gain control, because they feed right back into our pain experience. And this is happening behind the scenes without us even being aware of it. So this is the power of pain psychology that's available to us. So I just want to talk to you for a moment about an example of how this all fits together. Now, most people experience back pain in their lifetime, but for most people, this pain resolves. It goes away, but not for all of us. Sometimes pain stays around. And so what are the predictors for whether or not pain gets better or pain continues, it persists? And it turns out that some of the factors, this isn't the whole story, but I want to highlight to you the power of psychology, is that some of these factors are psychological, and it turns out that some of these psychological factors are the most potent predictors. So catastrophizing, this is something that we all do from time to time. But when it becomes a pattern, a thought pattern, it can exert a tremendously negative influence over your pain experience and over the trajectory of your pain. So catastrophizing is when we focus on pain, when we really can't think about anything else, have a hard time focusing on anything but the pain, so the pain experience gets magnified. And it's when we also feel helpless about the pain. It's very distressing. And again, from time to time, we may naturally have these negative thoughts and emotions, but when it becomes a persistent pattern, that's when it becomes toxic. So you can take two individuals, and they can experience the same injury. Say you strain your back. But these two people are going to have very different responses. One person's pain may improve and the other person's pain persists. And why is that? There's so many mysteries about pain. There's a lot of reasons why the experience of pain is individual. Some of them are gender, sex or gender. Some of it's ethnicity. A lot of different factors go into it. But some of the most important factors, and why I say important is because not only are they powerful, but you can do something about this, is your psychology. I can't change you from man to woman, but as a pain psychologist, I can help you optimize your pain computer. That is something you can control. And it's important to control these factors. It's important to understand about this power that's available. So when we talk about pain catastrophizing, when we talk about a pattern of kind of negative thoughts and feelings that can happen automatically, what I want to give you is a brief snapshot of the data. Because a lot of people wonder, well, is it a chicken or an egg, you know? What happens first? Well, I'll tell you, the data suggests that pain catastrophizing, when we think and feel very negatively about our pain, that it actually leads to changes in the brain. And we can measure this. We can put you in a scanner, and we can detect that when we catastrophize pain, our brain functions differently. It's more attuned to the pain, certainly. It amplifies the areas of the brain associated with pain. You're literally growing pain in your nervous system. Over time, this leads to changes in the structure of your brain, so that we can actually discover that areas of the brain that are associated with pain control begin to atrophy. So what I submit to you is that how you focus your attention, how you are thinking, and how you are feeling has the capacity to rewire your nervous system. So if we just let that harm alarm ring and we let it run its course, it will start working to our disadvantage and changing us, shaping brain and body towards more pain. Now here's the good news. It's reversible. Yes, it's reversible. So this is the really good news. And so there are different strategies, approaches that we can take to reverse the impact that catastrophizing and other psychological factors have on our brain functioning and on our nervous system. So cognitive behavioral therapy, this is where you learn information and skills. It's when you sort of put your thoughts under the microscope to discover some of those automatic thoughts that may be happening behind the scenes without you even knowing about them. Some of those negative thoughts, maybe it's feelings of helplessness or hopelessness, focusing more on the pain. Cognitive behavioral therapy is a therapeutic approach that helps you look for opportunities to get your psychology going in the right direction. And what this does, we see this using some of this fMRI technology, is that it changes the way your brain responds to pain. And actually, if you go through like an 8-week course of cognitive behavioral therapy, what it does is it leads to volumetric increases in the regions of your brain associated with pain control. You're growing your pain control muscle. Think of it that way. So it's reversible. Recently, research has shown that mindfulness-based stress reduction is about equally as effective as cognitive behavioral therapy for treating pain, for helping you gain control. So pain changes your brain and your body, but you can focus your attention on learning the right skills and information so that you reverse these changes, so that you're learning to train your brain away from pain. Now, you can see I'm a psychologist, so I'm very passionate about the idea that to treat pain effectively, we need to focus on more than just medication or more than just surgery. It's not that medication or surgery are bad. They have their place. But it's not the whole story, because we want to optimize this first, right? So pain is your harm alarm, and it's going to ring, and it's going to get your attention naturally. Your body is going to go on high alert, so is your nervous system. It's important to learn ways to control the impact of the harm alarm. Otherwise, what's happening behind the scenes, without you even knowing it, is that these thoughts and these feelings that naturally come up that are negative, they're amplifying pain processing in your nervous system without you even knowing about it. And you certainly don't want that. Nobody wants more pain. But if we don't have the right information available to us, we may be unwittingly contributing to our own suffering. And isn't that tragic? So I like to tell people, you're actually participating with your pain. It's not something that just happens to you. Now, you didn't ask for pain. You didn't want this. You didn't deserve it. But it's here. And our everyday choices, our thoughts, our emotions, they're going to have an impact on our experience, how bad it gets or how good it gets. So this is an opportunity for us to build a solid foundation underneath ourselves, each and every one of us, so that we can have the best response to any of the medical treatments our doctors are going to try for us, because we've got this optimized first. So imagine if on the front end, we focus on harnessing the power of psychology of our pain computer on the front end. Because pain is stressful, and it's going to cause your nervous system to go on high alert intermittently, and then it leads to lasting changes in the nervous system. But you can learn to train your brain and your body away from pain. It's not going to cure your medical condition, but it's going to give you back a critical level of control. And remember that these treatments actually increase the volume in the areas of your brain that are associated with pain control. You grow your pain control muscle. And ideally, you have more time and energy to focus on doing the things you love. So who needs psychological treatment for pain? Who needs this? Well, I argue that everyone needs it, certainly anyone who has pain, but really, it's to all of our advantage to do everything we can to make things better for ourselves, so that we can mitigate some of these negative effects, gain better control of our own experience. Now, the key is to use these skills regularly because they dampen pain processing, they decrease this hyperarousal in our body. Think about it like this: you're entraining positive neural patterns. And ultimately, this will allow you to get back to your life, doing what you love. Now, I've given you some resources for pain psychology. These are available on my website, bethdarnall.com, videos, mindfulness meditation apps. I'd also like to give a shout out to toolkit.org. They have a free PDF available if you go to their website. And lastly, what I want to say is that there are mental health therapists, pain psychologists in the community who can help you get started with these treatments, who can help you optimize. But what I want to say is that pain psychology isn't just for people who are profoundly depressed. It's for all of us. The goal is to make it better for ourselves. And so with that, hopefully I have inspired you to become empowered, to learn everything you can, to learn the skills, and to use the resources so that you are optimizing your pain computer, freeing up your time and energy so that you can focus on living the life that you love. Thank you very much.